Okay, it probably cut me off when I had the 4 of Cups out there working against the 9 of Cups. But, I put it back in. So, anything else we want to say here? Probably not. We'll get there. Especially when we get to... Yeah, no, actually I feel like I don't need anything else. I know I can see what's happening here. That's okay. Very clear. How do I want to remember these? Let's do that. Can always check the tape. So, this dang 7th house. The 5, 6, 7 of Swords, the Knight of Swords. Just staying in 4 of Swords. No, but he's moving. It's in progress. Okay, wow. So here we have Leo energy. It's not quite stuck. Not quite stuck. It's the knight that bets on himself against all odds, right? And usually wins. I know it's only been a few minutes, but if we, yeah, so we've got that other knight square, you know, that other knight bringing that Ace of Pentacles, that, okay. Feel like, obviously those 10 wands, because I've got Leo energy here. I feel like it's tied to this 3 of Pentacles. And it's moving more away from it. It's kind of what I feel. I feel like, yeah, you're in progress getting away from that situation. But let's see what else we want to say. Wow. Cancerian energy. There's that Ace of Cups again. But somebody with a small offer. So if we go back to that 4 of Cups. Or an apology, or a child. Sliding. Got the 7 of Swords reversed here, but I think I'll put it back in. Because I just, you know, it's not the first card for you that slid, but it is a recurring theme, though. The sliding's a recurring theme. Recurring theme. So this would be a transformation. This is the final card of Libra for me. Leading back to a 6 of Swords, safe passage. Another bridge. Do you see how that's, I'm just sliding it down a bit. Okay. So Aquarius, 11th energy, house energy for me again. Others would put it as Gemini. But for me, 11th house. So we're echoing that 8 of Swords, we're echoing the 10 of Swords. Then for me, this is a Houdini card of pulling it off. Everybody thinks you're stuck and you're going to prove yourself to yourself. For 8s, for me, 8s are proving yourself to yourself. And then 9 is proving yourself to everybody else. But I don't necessarily believe that you put out yourself in all of these swords. Other people can put you in these swords, yes? And if we go back to the 10 of Swords, in your first house, which is potentially talking about you versus the others. Yes. And getting yourself out. It's just echoing the getting yourself out. I know this wasn't sideways. It was almost sideways. And then they were going to be toe to toe. But if we go back to the 4th house with that King of Cups in reverse, that forced change of perspective, again, there's strong 11th house energy here. Same as Scorpio. But you could have strong Scorpio placements, especially if you've been working in tropical, and well, I shouldn't stick to those rules though, but anything else? No, but we have the 4 of Cups in where do we have? Who's in your 2nd? Yeah. Yep, let's just go back to your 2nd house here. Okay. Right. So the gift that's coming in, okay, so I need to not look at this page in a bad way. I need to look at it in a good way. I think those are. So there is safe passage. There's movement and safety and rest. It's almost like this is like this combines to a 6 of Swords, but why don't they just give me the 6 of Swords then? Because one has to happen before the other. Some action needs to be taken. Something needs to be said. Something needs to be negotiated, renegotiated, or, you know, obviously axed. And then time for reflection. And then, so the question is, now, first came the Wands, then came the Page, then came the Swords, getting yourself out. So it's like the gift comes before, and the Cups came first. So I feel like the Cup needs to come first before the exit. You got me? That's what I feel. That's what I feel. Okay. But yes, that end of that situation. So yes, the affirmation, because you need, okay, because again, the 6 is the affirmation that you're on the right path. And it'll tell you which, okay, so let's go into Scorpio. 8th house, this transformation house, but this deep creative energy, so the Pluto-Mars energy, deep desires. Everything starts with your Pluto placement. But deep hidden powers that you don't even know you have. And we already know that Knight of Cups and the 6 of Cups. So there's movement. There's a lot of movement, but there would be. Smack. There's that 7 of Swords again. Okay, coming out. And now it's, again, we have Swords. So now we have Libra for me and Leo. And look at, okay, 7 and a 5. So necessary change, transformation is coming with the change, putting you in leadership. Simples. You were stuck behind and you're going to switch up to in front, because what follows the 5 of Wands is the 6 of Wands, which is all about the affirmation of the leadership, getting all the getting the audience, getting the awareness, getting the applause, right? And being very certain of who you are and what you're going after. Specifically in Wands energy, then it doesn't have to be career. It can be, but it could be like one of your careers, right? Because we have the Pentacles energy, so obviously reputation and career are involved here. But also just in terms of the trouble you want to make in the world. So if that's part of your career path, or if it's just, if it is like a faith thing that you invest in yourself and you pay for yourself because you just need to do it. If it's creative and you fund it yourself with your other work, you know, that kind of thing, it can be that. And again, not just creative, just whatever, kind of revolutionary, kind of fiery passion you want to put in the world to leave your mark, right? Sometimes the passion leaves the strongest mark. The soulful work can absolutely leave a mark completely. The thinking, the ideas. This is fast and furious though, right? So, and this is you. You're here as fire for a reason. Okay, so 2 and 2. Here we have, so I really feel like this is explaining actually that 4 in your first house. The 4 of Wands, because I've got basically 2 and 2 here, which we have 2 and 2 in the 4 of Wands, right? Not quite squaring off, but we could do that. Absolutely. Here we have another 4, basically going through exactly the same amount of process as the other 4s, right? We just got, so emphasis on 4 in the 4th house, stability, 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 stability. Stability of self. But again, here we have 2nd house, 3rd house. Others would put this as Libra, but for me it's Gemini, and this others would put as Capricorn, but I put it as Taurus, okay? 2nd house. Yeah, so that stability needing to go through the same as the 4 of Cups and the 4 of Swords. Yeah, 4 of Swords is so squaring off. Again, so these are pushing, and they're creating the friction, and that's good. You want the friction, otherwise you don't know what to do. So they're going to help give direction. Okay, so this 8th house is going to help give you the direction. Again, we need that the fact that your 9 of Pentacles is in this house, okay? If we just take a moment here to look at this, a 2 and a 4, and then going back to that 3 of Pentacles, having clarity about that 3 of Pentacles. So again, if we go back, 7th house, that commitment, that situation, absolutely. Okay. The all-seeing eye, Scorpio energy, knows everything's subliminal. So what's really going on underneath the situation? The truth of it, what's really going on underneath it. what's going on under that surface. So any secrets and lies, any bullshit, any, you know, being a sin eater as well. If somebody has left way too much on your plate, if somebody has basically loaded you down with their crap, that could totally possibly be part of this. Right? So before the battery cuts out, let's see if we can get as far as your house. This is 9th house, your house. So you know all about you. You know all about faith, what you believe in, King and Queen energy here, 9, 8, 9, 10 of Wands. Truth, long journeys, of course, Gemini. I should remember that Gemini is short journeys. Empathy for me, you know, your ruler Jupiter. Jupiter can very much, wherever it's placed in your chart, it basically takes up that house. And apparently it is almost like having a saint. It brings a lot of saintly energy, apparently. I'm still studying that to determine if it plays out in reality that way. So my verdict's out, but I have a very strong placement of Jupiter in my 7th, along with Venus and Lilith, either side of it. But again, Jupiter is even more potentially the counterpart to Venus than Mars. This is a possibility. Jupiter seems to be tied to long-term partners, and Mars seems to be more the short, passionate one. But again, wow. So, how interesting. We have the 9 of Pentacles in Gemini in what you know, and we have the 10 of Pentacles. So we have that independence in what you know, and then we have basically the continuation. We have the completion of that in your own house. So you being you. Which takes us back to that King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. It's taking me back. It's taking me, where the hell did we put? Yeah, that bridge. That bridge of that Ace of Cups. Between the Queen and the 9. And that's in, yeah, your 3rd. That's right directly across from your 10. And that will solve your 1st. Well, it's part of it. That king that's stuck with his wands down. So Capricorn energy, Saturn energy. So your reputation, but fears, boundaries, calculated risks. But your career, if I stick, yeah, your career's in this house. In your own house. Look at this. Wow. What did I say about that? Okay. So we have that Cancerian situation again. Healing that needs to happen. Look at those 2 cups. Look at those 2 cups. Now either side of it, because they all came out together. So we have the 8 of Pentacles, hard at work. For me, this is that. Okay, so this is a fair exchange card. Yes. It's another 6 of either you giving or you receiving. For me, it is also a free will card. That's how God established it with me repeatedly through several personal readings for someone, because they wanted to know about free will. And this can be based on the rules of the game of the Matrix we're stuck in that have nothing to do with my God. My God's not all powerful. I do still love Jesus, but I also understand that God is bigger. And Jesus was pointing me in the direction of that, even if Jesus was just a really great human. And then people put words in his mouth after the fact. But a lot of my transformation work, my primary transformation work was done through the Gospel of John, reading it. But then I've like I've said, I've done my homework and I've taken everything apart, and I can easily take a lot of the Bible apart. Kamal Salibi, Bible is from Arabia, corrects many of the translations from non-spoken Hebrew of the original Bible texts, which once we get into the archaeology of it, you know, they really don't exist earlier than between the 7th and 5th century BCE, which makes them pretty new. So we could say Kabbalah predates. Then we have to get into the, there's even another group of books. See, what happened in 70 AD when Jerusalem was sacked was that most of the multiple versions of the Torah, or Tekeah? No, I've got to look it up again. There's even another group of books. Most of the multiple versions were destroyed conveniently with the destruction of Jerusalem. And so that we ended up with a very singular, you know, a few singular sources. I guess a few can't be singular, right? But the the variety. Oh, I've got to relight the flame. But the variety was suddenly missing. Yes? And so let's just give ourselves some more light here. There we go. Musical candles. But yeah. Let's see. What do I want to say? In terms of knowing the context for free will, this is where that ace comes in, that spiritual knowledge that you need in your third house. Something is underpinning, right, that needs to be known. This has everything to do with that Three of Pentacles situation. So it could be the Three of Pentacles, if we want to look at that in terms of religious institutions. But if we're dealing in your second house with so much change and movement, again, what was I saying? If you don't need the intermediary, if you are the intermediary, if you are a spiritual teacher, then but something absolutely needs to be aligned, and it's down to the research. It's down to the research in third house. What do we have in sixth house again? And you know it in sixth house. You know it. That sort of truth that's going through that heart, that's a sort of truth. Look at all this though, and that's Virgo energy for me. You have to know who really is the devil and who really is not the devil. And for me, yeah, no, I don't have an all-powerful God. I'm still pulling together, and again, and this is probably why they have me bringing so many things that I've discovered. But, oh yeah, Bible from Arabia is that once the Kamal Salibi, he's Lebanese, he's passed on, they probably killed him off. Scholar, many other tremendous publications from him on other related topics, but he corrects the translations, and then he matches. The groundwork would still need to be done. The physical groundwork would need to be done, but in terms of name places and tribes that still exist, he can place Eden, he can place tribes that match by name to locations. He can match locations with correct translations, and it all relocates south to the Asir region of Arabia. And Egypt does no longer translate to Egypt. It's another section, another area of that near that region. So that totally just, we're done then, because we already know what African peoples have to say about the stories coming out of Egypt. Yes, Kemet. And then so much of what Kemet built up is coming even from potentially West African spiritual systems, right? And so, yeah, we just, there's that work that needs to be done. That could possibly be it. But then you're already so close to this. And there's still a battery, okay. But look at all those pentacles in here. Like, holy shit, hard at work. And you are hard at work. Proving yourself to yourself. It's an 8. So just like that, sorry, just like, I still got something left, but suddenly your own house just totally takes over. Okay, did not see that coming necessarily. However, should have. So let's go to the 10th house. Let's go to the career and reputation house and see what it can say to us further to that. It's not going to have pentacles. We've used up all the pentacles. So something, aha! Your North Node. What was I saying about those 9 cups? That Virgo energy. Because you know it. You're almost there. Here they are. And in what position? How many? I brought out, I had to pause because the battery died. But I brought out, they're in the same position as, well, they're squaring off. They're squaring on, no, it's been tilting a bit, but they're squaring off with that with the 4 of cups. Yeah, over in your 2nd house, right? There's so much to connect this to, and I didn't want to fill up the whole table, right? But that Ace of Cups, the 2 of Cups that we just went through in your own house, right? Like with all, not all, that 10th house energy here, right? So the North Node, this being your North Node, and God, it's all, but this healing that just takes us back to your 1st house. And I'll get back to the 10th house in a second because we've still got, I'm gonna even run out of camera room to finish this up. Look at that. Yeah, your 3rd house, right? Everything you know. Everything you know. But that truth. That truth. So yes, the gift. The gift that's coming that you need to watch for, that you need to connect with, because this is absolutely being in connection with your guides as well. So this 6 of Cups, this gift that's coming through that you need to wait on, because it's in progress, it's coming, and then you've got then you can decide and make your exit. You already know you'll have the affirmation, right? Like I'm saying, okay? Oh, it's just so perfect. Okay, I probably don't even need to reference these houses again because I know it takes up some time, but it's so important. There we go. Set 2nd back in between 1st and 3rd. Okay, so further to, what else is there possibly to say about 10th house? I can't imagine much more. I can't imagine. It's in progress. It's in progress. And it's here. So everything tied to career. It's why that King is stuck in your 1st house. Absolutely. Yeah, no, okay, we're good. That is 10th house. Happiness on its way. On its way. Okay. 11th house. Technology, innovation, revolution, again, networking, what you do with what you know. So let's see how, this is, again, the 10 of Swords that you've been dealing with. The King, Queen of Swords energy. That 8 of Swords, absolutely. So that moving on, yes, and the safe passage has everything to do with this 11th house. All the technology, marketing, Like the tower. Yes, the tower that's coming through, that's stuck. We'll reference it. We'll just get a bit of a focal point here for 11th, if I could. There we go. Virgo. So that necessary change of being, yeah, that reputation energy of where are your people? Who do you belong in front of? And we'll check it with, we'll double check. Ooh, to the floor, to the floor. Another progress card. Wow. Okay, where's that King of Cups, right? That King of Cups in reverse. But again, so referencing that Hanged Man, the Pisces Neptune energy, the stability, and that cup coming in. So if we think in terms of being protected in Aquarius, like the star is protected, yes? Empress energy above her with those stars. That's great mother. That's great mother energy. The 7 stars is Sapphic, Jehovah, as in Jehovah. She is the 7 serpents. She's the 7 sons of like her 7 sons. Everything to do with West Africa and Mami Wata, but the Great Mother. So if we look across the world in terms of, you know, Grandmother Spider, Kali, I mean, however many you identify with as the Great Mother, Mother as God, yes? Those 7 stars. Whatever Tarot says, whatever Kabbalah says, they're derivatives. So we're going to predate them. With the 7 is tied to Libra also. 7th house. Which is tied to the path, the search for God, the path to heaven. And so there's this, I feel like there's your energy, but there's also your guide's energy. In your 11th, you're going to be, we're talking about 12th house energy in 11th house. Concerns, so maybe I just need to cross-reference then. Let's get Virgo out. Let's get 6th house out. Right? Where we have the Gemini energy. Yeah, we have the 9 of the wish fulfillment. So we have this energy repeated. Right? And these were all together in progress together, weren't they? No, they were squaring. They were squaring. Yep. That was squared. And that was like, yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. So that gift of like knowing that you know what the truth is. Yes. And so if it sets you apart, and it does set you apart, it comes back to that truth. That Ace of Cups. It's just right in her hand. It's right in her hand. It's right in her hand. And there we have, yep, in the 4th house, the alignment with the tower. Like there's Aquarius co-ruler right there with the tower. And look, yep, exactly where that King of Cups is. So now if you are both king and queen, Or there's somebody else that you need to be aligned with. Yes. I'm just putting this back in. That's right. Yep. But that, yeah, no, see, that's taking me back to the Three of Pentacles situation, because I'm looking at Libra here with that whole situation. And it's like, yeah, no, let's just know that, because that, yeah, the whole Virgo situation, it's all come back to me. The Virgo situation of, yes, this long-term commitment that's just got to be ended. It's got to be ended. In 5, necessary change and doing the right thing. Doing the right thing. And you know what it is. But you get that cup first. Got to get that cup first. Okay. So let's go to, well, we have battery, not battery, but card room. Let's go to 12th house. Let's end this, Sagittarius. So the house of the Hanged Man, the house of the King and Queen of Cups, the house that can be every house, the house that can be every sign. Yep. Takes us back to Virgo and Gemini, Mercury, your mind and imagination. Now, it's got a wee bit of work to do to come to the upright. Yes? But manifesting. So manifesting in the 12th house. Now, this is echoing for me. It's a form, it's, to me, this connects almost more to Leo energy than Virgo, even though it's directly across Virgo. But in terms of creativity, and problem solving. Now, in terms of problem solving, absolutely Pisces and Virgo. Needing everything to be balanced and organized, completely, totally Pisces and Virgo. But Virgo has to deal with sorting out how to organize. Pisces needs it all in place. Anything else? Let's just review third. I have fourth. What do they want me to remember in third? What you know and what you do with what you know, because there's your independence, and there's that Ace of Cups, and the Queen of Pentacles. So that truth again. Okay, we've got that there. And Virgo, we know what the truth is. We know where your 9 cups are. In Virgo, your 10 cups in your career house. Okay, squaring off. First house. First house. Absolutely. Mars, your loves and loyalties. Your loves and loyalties, and the 3 of manifesting, the 3 of waiting on somebody else is stuck. Of course it's stuck. Because in first house, now this to me is also an aspect, the male god. God is father, okay? So you could have God as father here, that there's something that needs to be reconciled between you and God as father. That's a possibility. Some part of the... So got some room. The 10 is in the same direction as the 3. So I feel like, yes, that ending, that closure, that beginning, because the endings overlap with the beginnings, yes. And something was in the works ahead of time, obviously, because the wheel was always, your chart was always your chart. Your wheel was always turning, and this was always going to happen. So it's run its course, and it's time for that tower to take you into the next. Right? And it's possible that this is who's bringing the Tower as well. But you have both. Let's just see who's not on the table. Saturn is not on the table. Sun's not on the table. Empress. No, Empress is in the deck. However, a High Priestess is in the deck as well. Justice can't be on the table because she's representing a house. We have Jupiter in the deck. We have Pluto in the deck. So either Mars. Yep, Saturn's in the deck. We've got Mercury and Mars and Uranus. Venus as Empress is in the deck. So mostly we're talking Uranus, Neptune, obviously Neptune, and I think that's it, isn't it, for planets? So we're talking about Neptune, Uranus. Neptune, Uranus, Mars, and Mercury. What can I say? And Mars and Mercury in your 12th house. Your huge, again, we go back to the spiritual teaching. In that sense of, yes, initiating. Uranus is switching it up from, yeah, no, absolutely. And so how that teaching takes shape has everything to do with 12th house, because with the Magician here. The knowledge that you have in your 3rd house, yes, and your systems in your 6th house. You know the truth and you know what to do about it. You've already been doing it, you've already been working on it, and now you're going to deliver on it. And you're going to step into that authority. Yeah. And create your stability. That's what you're going to do. But in terms of, being all signs, be familiar with all signs, be familiar with all energies, be familiar with, like, there's going to be something of everything, because the Magician has all the tools on his table, right? And there's still this overwhelm. So it seems to me like there's, and in teaching, right, you're going to have to anticipate, and whatever the teaching takes shape as, yes? But in this position of authority you're stepping into, you're going to be relied on to anticipate so many different needs from people, yes? And possibly all signs. Of course all signs. Of course all kinds of people are coming towards you. And so if you can you're going to empathize, you're going to do your Sagittarius thing of empathizing and seeing everything from everybody's perspective, but still maintaining your own. And maybe that has been, has that been the part of it, is determining your perspective and being able to step into your perspective and risk pissing people off. Yep. You're going to hold the cup though. You're holding the cup. So you're going to get that affirmation. You're absolutely going to get that affirmation from, I think it's got to be either from God or guides or everybody, right? That's the beauty of it. You're going to get, oh, you're going to have an affirmation in terms of evidence. Evidence that you can show and you can just, you win the argument with, right? Like you don't have to exhaust yourself trying to explain, justify. It's going to be absolutely indisputable, and something that you can show, something that you can, publish or whatever, that it's just boom. It does the work for you. I think that's what's coming through. All right, Sagittarius. Exciting and exhausting, I know. And again, I do feel like the fact that I had to take 2 pauses, we had to stop again. So there's necessary. And this is also, remember, this is the path. There's the path here that you've been on, that you stay on. And reach the end of it. But yeah, no, I feel like there are either going to be 2 breaks, 2 pauses. We've had this in your readings before, where it's been a big enough issue that they've made me mention it, or made sure that I mentioned it. And that has not happened really for too many others, to the extent that I can, that it stays with me the way it's staying with you, with your readings. So I think, and that has to be allowing for your personality type, and the fact that the best way for you to achieve is to do something over here for a while, and then go do something over here for a while, and then go do something over here for a while, and multitask. Basically those 10 wands, yes? And you need to have that many different ways, different directions, in order to stay engaged. Because if it's too much, too long at one thing, it just all grinds to a halt. And so they understand that, and so it's probably been a case of optimizing that as well. But you need the clarity. You need the clarity of who you are versus who everyone else is, what you think versus what everybody else thinks, because you've taken everybody's opinions into account, everybody's experiences, everybody's truth. You found the truth, because there are absolutes. And now that you have all the research and all the proof of those absolutes, you can step forward without it. It's not about you pissing off everybody. It's about God and Emperor and Empress potentially pissing people off because they didn't do the work that you did. They didn't research the way you researched. They didn't go and ask the way you asked. They didn't go to people the way you went to people. They didn't get outside themselves the way you got outside yourself. Right? You got outside yourself. I realize the Fool's not here it's here as a house, but you did get outside yourself. That's what Sagittarius does. And so, yeah. I hope I've said enough things that stick and make sense. And thank you for watching this. I love it. Okay. Much love, Sagittarius. I'll be back with a normal reading sometime soon, as soon as I'm done, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Okay, much love. Much love.